Hi, it's Veronica with the Crafty Ladder. We are going to paint up some of the sets inside of the summer collection. This is designed specifically for the Apothecary Cabinet, so all of the pieces are for the most part less than 3.5 inches, and we are going to work on the banner and the little drink stirrer. There are a few other pieces for the drink stirrers, so I have those over here waiting in the wings. That'll be our next session. But for now, we're going to work on the leaves. These are supposed to be a kind of like your monstera leaves, and these will you can string them up as a banner and hang them across the front of one of the drawers on your apothecary cabinet. And this tag we're not going to work on right now, but this I just put it up here because this is part of the summer collection, so that we have that constant reminder. That's what we're working on. And the inspiration for the color, I brought out the ruler. So most of the pieces are less than 4 inches, most actually less than 3.5 inches, and that's because they are specifically designed to fit inside of a drawer for the apothecary cabinet. So this is an apothecary cabinet drawer, and you can see it's the small size, and so the idea for the banner is that it'll be able to hang on the front of one of the drawers. And we are using a color story that I'm inspired by with this sign that I painted last summer, and I just love how it came out. I love the different shades of red, and then into the deep orange and lighter orange, and then yellows, and then the blues. There isn't green in this, and that's okay. We're going to have green monstera leaves. So, but this is primarily what we're going to be guided by as I paint up the summer collection. And this design, this particular pattern or SVG, I purchased from a lady that I follow on Instagram, and I think her handle is Hey Birdie. So HEYBIRDEE. I believe that's correct. So if that's something that you're interested in looking into, just and the Hey Birdie doesn't get you to where you need to be, then just let me know, and I will do a search to find exactly what the handle is. So for the monstera leaves, I want to go ahead and base coat in a darker green. I'm going to use Deco Art Americana, and this is Hauser dark green. Let me get my magnifying glass just to make sure I've got that right. Yeah, Hauser dark green, HAUSER. And then I'm going to use a bright green new shamrock. It's an apple barrel, and I am going to do some highlighting with Folk Art titanium white. So let's get a little bit of that paint on the plate. You don't need much for the leaves, and I am going to use a wipey for this. And we start base coating with and I keep my wipes, I cut them up, get them ready for use, and I just keep them in a little container, and if I need to, because if they're drying out, I have a water spritzer here, and I just go ahead and spritz them to keep them moist so that they don't dry out. And I started doing that because I was finding that I would cut some up and they would just dry out, and you're just wasting wipes that way. And of course at the beginning I would use full wipes, and you just don't, for smaller pieces that you're painting up, you just do not need that much wipe. Alright, we are going to go ahead and go in with a deep green. And this will be the shadowing that our piece needs for these leaves. And then kind of what we're doing is adding that lighter green or brighter green. Ends up being more like highlighting. It is a really dark green. But we build up the paint. And the lovely thing is that since you're really not getting much paint on the white, but it's going on the wood is really absorbing. These are not base coated. So the wood is thirsty. It's going to drink up a lot of that paint. And so when we're ready to apply, it'll dry up fairly quickly. And when we're ready to apply the lighter color, it'll take it really nicely. Okay, so this is the bottom of the drink stirrer. And the reason that I'm painting it, I'm not being too careful about it, but I am going to paint it up with green because it seems to, some pieces seem to cast the shadow underneath, and if we leave it bare wood, it'll look like it's that lighter color. So I just want to make sure I hit that, and this is the overlay that will go on top of the leaf. I'm sorry, on top of the drink stirrer. I have not decided what I'm going to do with the stirrer part. So I'm going to give that some thought while I'm painting this up here. Alright, there we go. And this little piece is for the stirrer, so we're just going to have that off to the side. Now, to get the lighter shades of green and then the white accents, highlights, I am going to use a dry brush. And I like this brush because this is a Jo Sonja brand. It's a number 2 brush. And actually, I think the number on it is a 2010 oval dry brush, but the size is a 2. So I like this brush because the hairs are coarse, and they're short, and it helps me move the paint around, and I kind of use it as a scrubber. So no water on this, and I'm going to get some of that off. You know, I'm looking on camera and it's looking blue, but it is definitely a bright green. I don't know what is going on with the colors here. And that already made a huge difference with, let's see if I bring that in closer, if that helps. Not really. It's looking kind of muddy, isn't it? Let me add a little bit more brightness here. I'm kind of staying away from the edges because we still want that dark underneath. Alright, we're kind of building up here. So it's going to look kind of ugly before it gets better. The white is definitely going to help. It's going to brighten things up. take a look at the lighting and see if I can do something about why it's looking so dark. Okay, I don't know if that's helping much, but I think it's still looking blue over here, and then just dark on the actual leaf. It's definitely not. That bright green is coming up. So I like the dry brush because it really does help me move the paint or push the paint. And since the bristles are really nice and tight and compact, it pushes it like, and it acts like a little scrubber. So that we don't get a huge saturation of the color. I'm playing again with the buttons here on the computer. I don't know what the story is, so my apologies for that. It's a little weird to me because clearly this is a tan color, the water well, and the wood's coming off nicely as the natural color that it is. But for some reason this green is just looking kind of gray to me. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and come in with the white, and hopefully this will brighten up This is Folk Art Titanium White, and this will brighten it up even further. I'm hoping that when I finally take the pictures, you'll get a nice view of what we're doing here. Still no water. And now I'm lightly coming in, and what we're trying to do is just get some streaks going. So I'm not putting very much pressure at all. That was way too much. Didn't take enough off. And that's the beauty of these monstera leaves. They have so much personality. I'm going to grab some green to get rid of that brightness on that white. And so as you come in and just add additional strokes, you're getting variations in the color. You have some dark spots that are the dark green, you have some of the bright green, you have some of the, and I'm really just kind of going in again. And scrubbing in the paint. And I'm going to come in with a little bit of the darker green. And kind of build up that area in the middle there. Get that shadow going in the middle of the leaf. And what's that word? Variegated. So you have just different varying shades of green. That's what we're going for, and I think kind of got that with this. I know it's looking brown. But we'll take a nice photo of it so that you can see. And you can keep going with this. I mean, it's going to take not much time at all to get it done, but you can just keep building up the paint, and it's blending for you. And you're just getting those little striations of white mixed in with the light green and the dark green, and it's kind of blending. What you don't want to do is get rid of the darkness completely. I remember Bob Ross used to say that, because the dark helps the light. You wouldn't have it. Helps the light show up. And this brush is fairly small. And I like turn it sideways so you get the thinner profile. I did go in and I added that black line in the middle. Not black, but the dark green, sorry. Okay. Oof. too much paint. So you kind of push it around, and then I'll come in with the green again to dull that up. So pretty. This green, the shamrock green, is really bright, but because it's going up against that really dark green, it kind of keeps it in check. And that's what I wanted for these leaves. It's summer, it's the colors should be bright and vibrant. As I'm blending here, it's looking kind of minty. I'm going to come in and get that little bit of darkness back on the brush so that I can get that center line in the leaf. So I like the look of monstera leaves, but I don't think I don't have a beautiful track record when it comes to plants. We do have a few ivies, and they've lived nicely for many years, so we have managed to keep those beauties alive for us. I do talk to my plants, just when I remember to. Well, every time I water them. The dogs probably think I'm crazy. But I don't think I'd be able to manage these monstera plants. I think I went a little too extreme with the white paint. So now I'm coming back in with that lighter green again. There we go. I'm going to do the same to this one. What happens is it ends up looking a little chalky. If you've got too much of that white going on. That one. So I love the other reason that I wanted to use this particular brush is because it gives you some, it leaves that impression of streaks as you're pushing the paint around. And when you think of leaves, they have so much personality. That's exactly what wanted to go for. Getting some of that dark paint. Bring that back in the center. Now for this type of brush, you definitely want to make sure you do a good job of cleaning it. I just use some Dawn. Because that paint really gets in the bristles. Come back in with that lighter green. Coming in with white. Really getting those striations, those little lines working through. And that's going to be the top or the overlay for the drink stirrer. And I think we are going to call this one done. Oh, I need the, I'm going to wait. For our next session, we're going to go ahead and paint up the drink stirrers, which are these. And I haven't quite decided if I want to go with white, if I want to go with some kind of silver maybe. They are drink stirrers. So we can go in many different directions. So one thing on the banner is I'll go ahead and string it up once we are ready to show the banner on the drawers. But let's see if, no, it's still looking gray. That's what it's going to look like. And I think I might use jute or white twine with that. Alright, so I need to make that huge decision. What should we do with the drink stirrers? And the reason that I'm thinking of the silver is because of that metallic. So we can go ahead and add the glitter. So that adds a little bit of interest. But we will see. All right, we'll see you in the next session. Thanks for joining me with this one. I am Veronica with The Crafty Ladder. If you have any questions, you can email me over at thecraftyladder@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook at The Crafty Ladder. So thanks again for joining, and we'll see you in the next session when we continue working on the summer collection for the Apothecary Cabinet, and we're going to be painting up these drink stirrers. Thanks. Bye.